Howell Mountain Cabernets, again, because of those mountain conditions with the stress, will tend to produce berries that are much smaller, so you have a greater skin to juice ratio, meaning you're gonna have more concentration, also more tannin structure. I find those wines tend to have a lot of that dark berry fruit, blackberry, dark cherry, dark plum. They also have almost like a dark chocolatey character as well. And then, as I mentioned, the tannins just are so well integrated. They're firm tannins, but they're probably among the most mature tannins, ripe tannins, which are tannins that will allow you to drink the wine when it's young, but also age it for decades. There is another aspect that makes Howell Mountain so unique, and that has to do with the fact that they're on the eastern side of the valley in the Vaca mountain range. Meaning, in the late afternoon, they are getting the sunlight that is setting in the west. And that means a little bit more sunlight, which will further help to develop Cabernet Sauvignon, perfect ripening conditions for that late ripening variety. On the western side, they're already in the shade in the late afternoon. So the sunlight has less an effect, and maybe the Cabernet Sauvignon grapes on the western side are not ripening to the same degree that they do on Howell Mountain. So tannins are primarily found in the skins, and Cabernet Sauvignon is an interesting grape because of its thick skins. There's more room for those tannin compounds to be developed. So tannin is something that's very common in Cabernet Sauvignon. In addition to the skins, you can find it in the stems, but when we make Cabernet Sauvignon, we destem the grapes before we begin to crush and ferment them. So that's not an issue. Another area where tannins can be introduced is through the wood. So there are wood tannins that can also be found in certain wines. But tannins tend to be found with that ability to give the wine the structure, the backbone, like a spine, if you will. And the spine can be something that will allow that wine to age for many, many years. What's best about Napa Valley, though, we develop tannins that are not gonna bite your tongue off. They're tannins that are so well ripened that they get that supple mouthfeel. They're not tannins that are green and coarse and bitter. So we have tannins here that make wines that are drinkable when they're released, but also can age so well for many, many years. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Tannins can run the spectrum from smooth, creamy, soft, velvety to the coarse, bitter, green, and chalky. I find that people have their own preference for those types of tannins. For example, if you prefer to drink black coffee, maybe you like the little bit more structured, more tannic, a little bit more coarser tannin. If you do drink coffee, but you take it with cream and sugar, you're gonna prefer the tannins that are more on the softer, velvety side. For big reds, I actually prefer mountain vineyards because they have the structure that you typically expect in a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it also gives you the ability to age those wines for many years. I think Howell Mountain is a wonderful location to visit. Number one, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, and it's a little bit off the beaten track. So you can spend an entire day visiting a number of different producers on Howell Mountain. I would suggest getting there, early in the morning, maybe be able to see the fog down below, really understand the climate that is particular in Howell Mountain, and then have a picnic lunch somewhere, and then in the afternoon, also visit another winery so you can see how the temperature changes during the day, and also visit some of the beautiful wineries with exceptional views. I mean, one of the best places that I find for views of Napa Valley is on Howell Mountain because you get a beautiful perspective.